Hi, everyone. My name is Tobie Spears, and I'm so excited to be here today with my friend Dana. We have our trip coming up, and I thought it'd be fun to have a conversation with a past participant. So I'm going to ask Dana a couple of questions. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so Dana and her daughter came with us in 2019. So that was our last trip that we were able to go on.
Yep.
So I wanted to know just what was your reason for going? What was your reason for going to Guatemala?
So I had, my daughter was 16, and so I was looking for an adventurous service type vacation to do with her. I had never done one before, and I had been checking it out, but couldn't really find anything that was feeling good or making sense. And then when I met you, I knew immediately that we needed to go. That
was something funny is Dana, as soon as we met, she's like, okay, we're coming. And I've actually heard that from many people, but Dana followed through. She's like, okay, we're coming. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I just knew that it was exactly what we needed to do.
Awesome.
And it would be perfect because we weren't looking to do like a big group, and you've got it set up so you take just a few people, and it just made more sense. And I never thought about going to Guatemala. I didn't have a set destination.
Right. Okay. So then what was like a takeaway? So we spent 11 days traveling through Guatemala. This was your first time in like this type of experience.
Yeah.
What do you have, like one or two like big takeaways?
So I've traveled a lot all over the world, and it's weird to me that I've never done a service trip until now. So for me, I really didn't expect my eyes to be opened as much as they were, and to see so much need, and you create so many just fabulous opportunities because of your relationships that you have in country. You know, that gave us some experiences that the typical group, I don't think, ever gets.
Right.
That is really what sets GHT apart. So just opening my eyes, and it still just resonates with me, that trip. And then just seeing how happy these people are, you know, I still get emotional.
So cool. I love it. So we're coming on 2 years. So this summer, it was 2 years ago that we went.
Yep.
So you're having this emotional reaction 2 years later, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm almost 50 years old, and it had that much of an impact on me. But it made it special to have that trip with Dagny, my daughter, and to open her eyes up to see what options she had as far as a future, and future trips, future service trips, for future just types of jobs that maybe she wants to do.
That's something I've had a lot of fun with, talking to like past participants while we're in country. Like, what kind of life decision do you want to make? What impact do you want to have with your career, with your life? And when you get to talk to these kids that are 16 and still haven't committed to anything yet,
right?
Then it's kind of like a clean slate, and you're like, okay, that's when they can think about all of the ideas and really decide at a very young age,
right?
Which is very cool.
Well, traveling itself is so educational, but when you go to a country like Guatemala, it just takes it to another level, and opens up just to see what they could do, and kind of changes how their outlook on life too, and how much more we appreciate what we have at home. So there are a lot of takeaways. It's really hard to narrow it down.
But that one is the one that I always opted for. That was one of my main goals in this, is like, what can you do with your life? I wanted that question answered, like for all of our participants, like, this is your life, and what can you do that's for the betterment of others? So I love that. I mean, we've been able to do this year after year, and I have loved being able to have those conversations with people like about that.
Yeah.
To make those questions, instead of like what kind of career can you have that will bring you the most money?
Right.
But what kind of career could you have that would bring you joy and help others?
Yep. And make the world a better place in
Absolutely.
their way that they can individually.
Right.
We can't fix everything about the world, one person,
right?
But we have control over our space. So
we do.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what do you think? What kind of, in like a big grand scheme, what did your time in Guatemala change about just an outlook? Did it change the way you were looking at your life, or did it?
So many things, but so I think right now, just to see how much we waste in food here in this country has really made an impact on how, when I came home, how our family chooses to purchase food and eat it, and then what we're throwing away. All of that, we've continually tried to find avenues and options within our community to eat better and make better choices with the food that we're actually eating.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where I got it, but I am a huge advocate for minimal food waste. And I mean, I grew up really poor, so it could have been some of that. We grew up not being able to waste food because that was not acceptable.
Yeah.
But when you see hungry people, and when you're working in a country that is full of malnourished individuals, then it gives you a thought like, okay, we throw away so much food. So,
well, and to see that, they're living on beans and tortillas, right? And so that kind of had an impact on our family dynamics, to know that we need to keep things simple, not make it as complicated and crazy as I think our society kind of has.
I like it. So a little simpler. Okay. And then what were you hoping to get out of a service vacation? Did you have some goals?
So I really just wanted to give Dagny a really great travel, learning, eyes-opening experience. And she definitely had that and more. But I see the benefits right now. Yeah. So she's a pretty picky girl, and she always has been with food and just stuff. And I think since our travels, it really kind of made her a little bit more patient.
Good.
And not as concerned about just everything going exactly how she thinks it's supposed to go. And so I see that in where she works. She chose to work in a hydroponic farm, and she's a hard worker. And I think that also attributes to her experiences in Guatemala, to see how hard these people are working just to survive.
Right.
I
love it.
Yeah. So
I think travel does that. And I think service vacation travel, when you are on a different level, can do that. I remember my mom said the same thing to me when I backpacked through Europe. I was 17, and my mom said, you came back a different person from this, because I'd seen the way that I'd seen outside of my bubble. I'd seen the way that others lived, and it was able to open my eyes. So,
well, also builds these teenagers, they need confidence in their actions and their thoughts and choices.
Right.
And so I think traveling in itself helps to build that confidence that they can do things that are so foreign and unknown to them, that it's not going to be the end of the world.
Right.
To have to do
and
that.
So Dagny, when she was in Guatemala, she wasn't picky. So I don't actually know that about her, because she was so just willing to go. She was willing to work, willing to help, willing to do it, and without complaint, without
she did
picky.
it, and that was surprising.
So
she was still picky about some of the food, which is, I mean, it is different, and she was nervous, but she did taste everything. But and she came back home. She's really limited on what she wants to eat, but she knows better now for herself what she wants to be putting in her body. So
fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Any last words, any last thoughts you'd like to share with us?
So I think that there are a couple things. It's important for people to know really that I think this is very different because of your connections, Tobie, and your relationships with people. Because now we have the opportunity to get to know individuals as well as homes and the way people live on a more intimate level than I think other groups get to have. But one huge benefit that I think gets missed is how this impacts these teenagers. So we're not just doing help abroad in Guatemala, but before we go, you're preparing these teenagers for all that they're going to do. And so that preparation is building their confidence and opening some, uncomfortable, out of their comfort zone opportunities to now have to reach out and try and find a way to raise money to go on this trip themselves and to do things that could benefit our own communities. So even though the focus is to help people in Guatemala, it actually does help our own communities be better because of the individual's experiences.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.
See ya.